Hi guys, this is the tip video for the 6 worksheet. This is the sex determining gene. This is sex-linked genetics. Now, before we begin, this is the only time you will use sex-linked genetics. You will only use this when the question itself tells you that it is a sex-linked genetic question. If you are unsure and you're guessing whether or not you should use this particular method, this is an exception to the rule. This is an exception to basic Mendelian genetics. You want to make sure that inside the question that it tells you that this specifically is a sex-linked trait genetics, because sex-linked traits always start off the same way. It's single trait genetics. So a 4-Punnett square. And when you're always determining the sex of a child, mom is XX crossed with dad, who is XY. Automatically, it's going to start. I always put mom at the top and dad down here. Dad has a Y chromosome. It's a special little funky chromosome that does not carry any significant genes. X chromosomes, on the other hand, they have genes that are attached to them. So when you are doing a problem, you will always set it up like this. And then up here in the little corner is where you're going to put the actual dominant or recessive gene. So you can automatically always fill in a Punnett square dealing with sex-linked traits. It's always going to be the same thing. What's going to change is putting the little genes up in the corner. And it always is a 50-50 chance that you are either going to be female or male. And because we're dealing with X chromosomes, female have 2 X chromosomes. They're going to have 2 genes to determine what they look like. Males only need 1 gene because Y chromosomes do not have a chromosome attached to it, or a gene attached to it. So when we're doing these questions, it's the same setup every single time. Now let's move over to the sex-linked traits worksheet. Here are the genotypes, and you are going to write down the phenotype. And it says up here, eye color for sex-linked trait, red is dominant to white. So we're talking about red equals big R, white equals little r. There's your key. So when we're looking at this, XX, that is a female. And what color eyes does she have? Big R, little r. That is heterozygous, so it's red. This is XY. This is a male, because it's XY. And there's only 1 gene, so it's going to be red-eyed male. Fill out the rest of them, remembering XX is female and XY is male. Number 2, they give you the phenotype and you have to write the genotype. So if you are a white-eyed male, well, if you're a male, it's XY. Now we have to attach the gene to just the X chromosome, which would be a little r. For females, XX, and then you have to attach the gene for red, which is heterozygous, big R, little r, because heterozygous means different. Okay, that's just the basics. Now, when you get to the individual problems, go ahead and start off. Make yourself that Punnett square. And let's read the question and write the parents over here. Okay, so we already know there's XX crossed with XY because it's a male and a female, or a female and a male. Crossing a white-eyed female, little r, with a red-eye male, big R. Now let's fill in the Punnett square, putting the gametes straight up to the top. And the males right there. So we have X, X, big R, little r, X, X, big R, little r, X, little r, Y, X, little r, Y. That's it. Again, 50% female, 50% male. Now we just need to look at see what trait they actually have. And over here they just ask you how many you have over here. You can put it in percentages would probably be percentage. White-eyed male. So I'm looking, that's a male, that's a male. Look, and they are both white-eyed. So I'm going to say there are 2 white-eyed males. How about white-eyed females? Well, we're looking for XX, 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 but neither one of them are white, so that'd be 0. Red-eye males, well, there's only 2 males and they're both white-eyed, so there would be 0 there. And then red-eye females, that's a red-eye female and that's a red-eye female, so 2 of those. So 50% white-eyed males, 50% red-eye females. Those are the probable outcomes for the offspring for this one. Both of these are exactly the same way. Just read the questions, fill them out. Now, when you get on the back, we've got some different problems. This is hemophilia. This is a blood disorder where if you get a little cut, it's just going to keep bleeding and bleeding and bleeding. You end up having to go to the doctor, even with just a little cut. The people who are hemophilia, they don't have a clotting ability to any minor cuts. They usually have to end up going to the get stitched up, so because they can't clot themselves. So when we're talking about hemophilia, it is a recessive trait. So you have 3 female possibilities. You have big H, which is normal female, big H, little h, which is heterozygous. She's a normal female, but since she has the recessive gene, she's considered a carrier. And then in order for a female to be hemophilia, you have to have 2 recessive genes. Now the male, on the other hand, you're either a normal male or you're either hemophilia, because you only have 1 gene that's going to determine whether you have it or not. So down here, if we look, show the cross of a man who is hemophilia with a woman who is a carrier. So we have X, X crossed with X, Y. So the man has hemophilia. So that means you are a little h. And a woman who is a carrier, remember, carrier means you are heterozygous, capital H, little h. Do your cross. Place the gametes here, here, and over there. Figure out your offspring, and then answer your questions. Same thing down here. It's another hemophilia question. This one's a hemophilia question. You just have to use this information from above. Now, calico cats. This is a challenge question because not only are we dealing with sex-linked, but it's also a co-dominant question. And we haven't actually gone through the co-dominant. So when we're talking about sex link, we're talking about females, 2 X's, in males, XY. Co-dominant means that there are multiple colors that are dominant. So if you are a cat, we read the question, if you are a cat who is capital B and capital R for orange, you are a calico cat. If you are a male, you only have one X. So you're either black or you're either orange. Males cannot be calico cats because you need 2 dominant genes in order to be a calico cat. So females are the only ones that can be calico. So when you're doing this question, please keep that in mind. Males only have 1 gene. In order to be a calico cat, you have to have both dominant genes, and that makes it co-dominant. Good luck with that one. Hopefully you can get those answers without any problems. And as always, if you have issues or problems, please email me. I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you.